Mark, getting set for the first game of the Calder Cup playoffs for your club, but first let's just take me through those games against Abbotsford. Two very decisive wins over the Canucks. It must be a good feeling amongst the team heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so. I think we take a lot of positives out of that series. I thought we were on top of them for the most part. The second game, I didn't think it was a 6-0 hockey game. I mean, I think we got lucky at some points of that game to put pucks in the net, and we also Burden made some big saves for us at certain times. So I thought they were much better in the second game, and I don't think it was a 6-0 hockey game. I think they played a pretty good hockey game against us, and I like the competition before the playoffs for sure.
Now you get to face Milwaukee for the Central Division semifinals. And it's also a team you don't need any introduction for. You met them 12 times this season. What are you expecting against this playoff series, against the team you've seen so much this season?
Yeah, we know them. They're physical. They're going to get to the front of our net. They're going to try to bang away down low there. They're a good forechecking team with some big bodies, and they play a physical game. And we're going to have to be ready for them to come. I mean, playoffs, one of the things about playoffs, and we talked about it today, is forechecks can always be a little bit harder in the playoffs. It's one area of the game where it's more physical. Is on the forecheck. They can finish our defensemen with some physical hits, and that's one thing that kind of changes in playoffs. It gets physical fast, so it's one thing that we're going to have to be ready for.
Connor Ingram's a goaltender you faced a lot too in those games against Milwaukee. He's currently up, of course, with Nashville. Is that something you sort of tap into it all, or is it just whoever's in the crease game one's whoever's it's going to be?
Yeah, I mean, they've got both of their goalies are good, so and both have played against us, and they both played well, so it's not something that we really have talked about, but again, it's playoffs, so we want to make sure that we get to the front of their net too.
Do you expect Gus to be a player this weekend?
That I do not know. I haven't talked to how he got through practice today. He was in yellow, but he managed it right to the last drill, so we'll see what happens after.
And is Paganski healthy?
I believe Pogo is healthy, yes.
He is healthy. I want to ask you, so Nicholas Jones obviously won AHL Player of the Week. How nice is that for you to see him get rewarded? Not just him, but the way that line, the Polai, Meyer-Jones line playing kind of resemble your identity.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're asking me what I think of that. Like, they're a great line, and I like that they got rewarded through Nick winning Player of the Week. But that you're right, the line is physical down low, and they control the play, and they control the puck, and they get pucks to the net, and they're really hard to play against.
I remember in the fall when Billy first came down here, obviously, and you mentioned Josh Morrison about how kind of honing your craft was a big part of this year for him. You talked about gap defense and other things throughout the year, but from October to now, kind of, we look at Billy Heinola. What do you make of the progression he's made and where his game's at today?
I think he's made progression for sure, and a lot. I mean, if you look back at one of the things about Billy is if you look back on his last 3 years, he hasn't played a lot of hockey games.
Yeah.
So, I feel like this year, from the beginning of the year to now, he's more physical. I think his reads are quicker. He's harder on pucks. His body position in the D zone is better. I think he's come a long way. I think Billy has really improved.
When there's players like Billy that have his skill set, puck moving, crafty ability, sometimes they can be boxed in that kind of mold. But would you say that Billy actually has more bite to his game than one would maybe assume from the onset?
Well, I think he has more bite in his game now than he had before.
When you say before, what do you mean? Like when would before?
Early on in the season,
Okay.
I think he's got more bite in his game now. He wants to take the puck all the time and go, and he wants to play on the offensive side of things. And I think, throughout the last 10 or 15 games here, I think he's learned that he has to pick his spots when to go. I think he's smarter when to go, and I think his defensive zone coverage is better. And I think that at the end of the day, if playoffs are going to be good for anybody, and they're going to be good for quite a few players on that team, they're going to be really good for Billy.
Why?
I just think the tempo is higher. The physical side of things is more intense, and I think that's something that is going to benefit him. He can move his feet, and I just think that that's what he needs. Like he'll excel at that. He'll move pucks quicker. He'll move his body quicker. So it'll benefit Billy.
I'm not trying to ask you to make a player comparison or anything, but in terms of Billy's game at the next level, I don't need you to name a player, but is there kind of a mold or a type of defense that you foresee him being at the next level?
Not so much. I mean, maybe what I just mentioned, like he's going to jump up in the rush.
Yeah.
He's going to make a good first pass.
Yeah.
He moves across the blue line in the offensive zone really well. So he, on the offensive side of things, that's who he is. But he needs to shore up the defensive side, and that's what he's been working at, and I think that's what he's improved at.
Last one for me. We talked a couple weeks ago about Vest, and you said he was starting to get better. How do you think that he did in his last 5 games or so, or last little stretch?
I thought he was good. There was maybe one game in there. I'm not going to, that I was worried about his consistency. I wanted him to be the same right through.
Yeah.
I think there was one game in there that maybe I didn't like so much, but I overall, I think he's been on pucks. I think he's tried to be physical, his little bit more intensity he's played with. So, yeah, I've liked it.